Hey, we're Blenderstyle, and one day they'll name a street after us. On this episode, the Submarines, Love Notes, Letter Bombs, released in 2011. Cheers, fellers.
Cheers, gentlemen.
So I got into Submarines a long time ago. I think I heard a jingle on a Apple commercial or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then we were watching a TV show, and another song came on, and started kind of listening to it, and kind of got into them. And then this album came out, and I pre-ordered it, and it's been probably my favorite Submarines album of all of them. And I think I've told you guys about it numerous times, but I don't know if you've ever listened to it. So this was my way of forcing it upon you and making you have to listen to it.
First time I heard him was from you.
Okay.
And we were in your truck, and I think we went to go get beers or something, and you showed me this and another artist that I can't remember.
Okay.
But yeah, I remember you showing me a song or two.
Yeah, I never got into this,
Okay.
and it makes sense that they their music was in Apple commercials.
Mhm.
I think one of the band members might have been in one of the commercials too.
I'm not sure.
For the iPhone
I thought
3.
you were going to say one of the members worked for Apple.
It kind of sounds like that too. Because it is indie pop, right?
Yeah, I would say indie pop.
It's very easy to listen to,
Mhm.
but it has that kind of indie garage band,
Yeah,
rock band sound.
Yeah.
But it's pop. And it's a duo, right? The dude and homegirl.
Yeah.
John Dragonetti and Blake Hazard.
Yes.
And you and I were talking about this earlier. Their previous albums, they kind of wrote separately and got together.
Yeah. So according to their Wikipedia, which is never wrong, they dated, broke up, recording at John's studio. They realized a lot of the songs they had written were about each other, started sharing them, and formed the band. Ended up getting married or whatever, and then created some albums with it.
Wow.
And this is their first album that they forced themselves to collaborate on, because I guess before this everything was kind of separate, and they brought their stuff together and did it. This one they forced themselves to kind of work together to create an album, and they were going for more of an edgy vibe than their previous albums, because I don't know if you guys went back and explored any of the previous stuff, but it's a lot more mellow than this. Way more poppy, very homegrown kind of sound. This has a lot more drum and beat and actual guitar and stuff in it, which is what I really like about this one. And so I really wanted to see where you guys were at with it.
I think the vocals are great.
Yeah.
I really like how she sounds, and I like that. I feel like she's the main vocalist. He's in this a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
They almost sound the same. He's just the male version of what she sounds like, and they really go well together.
They harmonize extremely well.
I like when she says some stuff and then he says it. Almost sounds like an echo sometimes.
Yes.
And I think it's just a nice vibe.
Yeah.
It is chill. The whole album's chill, but they're good songs, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Ivaloo's a great track.
I actually had a bird that I named Ivaloo.
Really?
Yeah.
I love the
this song.
track Birds.
Yeah. And you don't even like birds.
I know. It's crazy.
But I like how this kicks off.
Tigers is good.
I like it. Yeah, tigers. I like how it kicks off.
Oh, they got to be
with
careful. They put the tigers right next to the birds.
But I like how it kicks off with Shoelaces, and it's talking about just taking that risk or whatever. I like the metaphors in a lot of these songs. They really are love songs without that over feeling of hey, shove it down your throat. This is a love song. Yeah. Which is really cool.
Yeah, I usually don't like music like this.
And that's what I kind of like about it. I feel like their first couple albums were love songs, and there was a lot of heartache and stuff in it. And it felt very generic. Oh, yeah, cool. I know exactly what they're talking about. There's a lot of little metaphor in this, and trying to subtly push you in that direction and pull on your feelers. And it does a really good job of it.
But they sprinkle fun over it.
Oh, for sure. All these songs are pretty fun, and the pacing's really good. Even the slower stuff still has that. It's able to keep your attention, or at least I feel it is.
Yeah, this definitely reminds me of stuff that I was listening to probably around this time.
Mm-hmm.
And have you guys ever heard of Mates of State?
No.
Mates of State was also a couple that were married and they wrote together. And then like you also had
White Stripes.
Yeah, the White Stripes too. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And then like Tegan and Sarah, but like bands that were kind of like doing this duo thing that was great. I mean, like Simon and Garfunkel, that's just fucking awesome, right?
Yeah.
I think these people, this couple or these band, whatever you want to call it, definitely know how to write good songs, catchy, just good pop songs that with like an indie feel to it that I was definitely listening to stuff like this, you know what I mean? And I had never heard this band, so I definitely kind of like felt at home with this one. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Because I figured for sure you were gonna be like, oh, nah, too mellow.
That's my beef with it. It's too mellow.
Yeah.
So like a lot of it doesn't jump out at you. There's not a lot of contrast here.
Yeah. This is like another one of those bands like you were talking about earlier that you could put on when there's mixed company.
Yeah.
And nobody's really gonna get offended by it.
But like you're saying, like it's even though it is chill, they are good songwriters and these are good songs, so I can appreciate it.
I like that you can hear the partnership in it,
Me too. Like it seems very cohesive.
And fun. I want to know like what bad shit happened,
Yeah.
Is there times where somebody like
where's the dark side of this?
Threw their little flute down and was like, I'm not.
So after this album, I think they actually ended up breaking up. I don't know if they're a band anymore.
Bummer.
But Blake Hazard still does solo stuff. I think she put an album out in 2016 or 17.
Wow.
I haven't listened to them. I kind of hit and miss on her first album, and it was way more mellow than this.
That's
which
what
I
I'd
was
be afraid of.
kind of like, oh, well,
Bummer,
yeah,
dude.
it's like without John, it kind of loses that back and forth and that edginess, I feel like. But also, like, when I pre-ordered this, it was only 10 tracks. And so when we listened to it, when we put it on the playlist for this on Spotify,
Yeah, you had some bonus tracks.
it has Forest Lawn and Just Like Honey. I've heard Just Like Honey before, like as a B-side or whatever. I had never heard Forest Lawn. That song is killer.
Nice.
I
Nice
was
little
like,
bonus.
Yeah, it was a little bonus, and I was like, man, you learn something new almost every
deluxe
other
or
year
whatever.
or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
That's cool.
But with that being said, I mean, what would you guys rate it?
You know what, dude? I thought it was pretty good. I give it a 3.8 out of 5. It's it's good.
Yeah.
My only beef with it is it's too predictable, too chill. I wish there was like a little more experimentation, like some weird shit going on. Like you guys love each other, like love notes and letter bombs. Where's the letter bombs?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's when the doors and windows break, but not this melody.
Yeah, so but that's kind of nitpicky. It is good. I liked it. Good pick.
Thanks.
Nathan?
I give it a 3.8. I think I would probably like it even a little bit. It might even go down. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I think it's pretty solid. But I feel like I would like it even more. This is my little thing with it. If I would have heard it back then,
in the day,
just because I was kind of like listening to
it would have hit
like,
harder then.
I mean?
Yeah,
I was being a little
emo kid,
you know.
Well, but
also I like pop, like good songwriting. You know what I mean? I like good. I like I don't know. That's what I like.
But I kind of agree with you. I feel like it feels like an era that's past or whatever. You know, I feel like this kind of style of music you don't really hear anymore. So it kind of lives in the past.
Yeah, like you could have heard this in like Stranger Than Fiction or like any like indie, not indie film or something.
Yeah. So I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
Wow.
It's my favorite Submarines album. I'm
The Submarines.
I knew you were gonna do this.
Keep going.
Anyway, it's my favorite The Submarines album, which is hard for me to do. It would have been a 5 if there was, it would have been a 5 if there was no The in front of their name.
No, fuck that. Do you love this?
I do. I love this album.
And it's a 4.5.
It's a 4.5.
In front of the fans, will you take back your hate officially of the bands because you clearly like one of them.
But
this fits
they
the
don't
mold.
sound like one of the bands.
Exactly. There is no open strum going on this with that fuzz-driven.
I don't know. Kind of has that feel a little
guitar
bit.
thing.
Bing, 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 bing.
Yeah. So I mean, other than that, I love it.
I tried, guys.
He tried.
I tried.
He did. He gave it his best effort. We're Blenderstyle. That was the Submarines. Love notes, letter bombs. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell Matt to take his making me take my hate back.
I'm not taking that back.
Taking them all back.
I've seen better shows than this.
So have I.